Breaking. Prince William just broke a 70-year royal silence to publicly challenge the Prime Minister. What he said in Westminster Abbey stopped the entire room cold. This happened less than 24 hours ago. Prince William walked into Westminster Abbey for what everyone thought would be a standard ceremony. Polite handshakes, rehearsed sun, rehearsed smiles, business as usual. Instead, he delivered one sentence that changed everything. My father's wisdom and dedication to this nation require no defence from any politician. If you want to see where this goes, hit subscribe now, because what's unfolding could reshape British politics forever. The silence after William spoke was crushing. Keir Starmer, standing just metres away, looked like he'd been punched. His face went pale. Cabinet ministers next to him shifted their feet, eyes darting around, unsure what to do. But here's why William said it. And this is where it gets serious. 3 days ago, leaked WhatsApp messages exposed a coordinated campaign inside Downing Street to attack King Charles. Labour strategists were caught planning to paint the king as politically biased, out of touch, and dangerous to democracy. One message from a Downing Street aide was brutal. We need to make Charles the villain. Old, interfering, unelected. The public needs to see him as the problem, not us. The strategy was clear. Destroy the king's reputation to save Labour's crashing poll numbers. But it gets worse. According to leaked documents obtained by The Telegraph, Labour's strategy team had been planning this attack for months. They hired American political consultants, the same firms behind aggressive attack campaigns in the US, to create messaging that would break down public trust in the monarchy. The budget, over £300,000 of taxpayer money. Think about that. While British families are choosing between heating and eating, Starr's government spent your money to attack the king. Prince William wasn't going to let that slide. Sources close to the prince say he spent 2 full days preparing his response with constitutional experts and senior advisors. Princess Catherine reportedly told him, "Your father needs you. Britain needs you. If not now, then when?" This wasn't a rash decision. It was calculated and it was devastating. When William spoke in Westminster Abbey, every word was chosen for maximum impact. He praised his father's decades of service. He reminded everyone what the crown actually stands for. And then he landed the final blow. His wisdom and dedication to this nation required no defence from any politician. That last word, politician, cut through the room like a blade. Everyone knew who he meant. The response was instant and massive. Within minutes, social media exploded wasteland. The #sign Defend the Crown hit #1 globally in under 20 minutes. Video clips of William's statement racked up millions of views before Starmer's team could even respond. But the optics became absolutely devastating for the Prime Minister. As William spoke, cameras caught Starmer frozen. Not defiant, not angry, just shocked. Body language experts analysed the footage and pointed out Starmer's trembling hands, repeated swallowing, and what one expert called classic signs of public humiliation. Margaret Davies, a 64-year-old retired nurse from Cardiff who voted Labour her whole life, posted a video that went viral within hours. "I've supported Labour through everything. But watching Keir stand there speechless while a prince defends his father, that's not strength, that's weakness." Her video has been shared over 800,000 times. And while this political drama plays out, real people are suffering. British veterans, men and women who served this country with honour, are sleeping on the streets of London tonight. Michael Patterson is 71 years old. He fought in the Falklands War last week. He was found sheltering under Wartle Bridge in freezing temperatures. His pension after 40 years of service barely covers his medication. "I fought for this country," he said, tears streaming down his face. "I watched my friends die for this country, and now I can't even afford a roof over my head." Statistics released yesterday by Veterans UK show over 6,000 former servicemen and women are currently homeless across Britain. 6,000 heroes, nowhere to go. While Michael sleeps under bridges, Downing Street spent £1.2 million last month on diversity consultants and media strategists, executive salaries, luxury hotels for advisors, champagne receptions for Labour donors. One government expense report shows £38,000 spent on strategic communications training for junior ministers. Translation, teaching them how to avoid answering questions honestly. The contrast is so stark that even traditional Labour newspapers are calling it out. Yet the Daily Mirror, historically Labour's strongest supporter, ran a front-page headline yesterday. Veterans freezing while star plots against the King. That's not Conservative spin, that's Labour's own supporters turning on them. Then King Charles himself broke his silence. At a private dinner at Buckingham Palace last night, the King addressed Commonwealth leaders with words that will be studied for decades. The Crown does not engage in political battles. We serve and we do not rule. But we also do not abandon the principles that have kept this nation stable through centuries of challenge. Present at that dinner were the Governor-General of Canada, the Prime Ministers of Australia and New Zealand, and representatives from 15 other Commonwealth nations. By speaking to them directly, Charles was sending a message far beyond Britain's borders. Palace insiders say those words were carefully chosen and reviewed by constitutional lawyers. They were designed to send multiple signals at once. To Starmer, you've crossed a line. To William, I support your intervention. To the British people, the monarchy remains steady while politicians panic. The optics are crushing for Labour. Here stands a king who could respond with fury, who has every right to use his power to strike back, instead choosing dignity. And over there stands a prime minister who attacked first, attacked hardest, and now looks petty and completely outmatched. But there's another layer that makes Labour's position even more dangerous. Behind the scenes, senior members of the House of Lords are preparing what one peer described as a nuclear option. Lord Harrington, a crossbench peer with 40 years of constitutional law experience, has been quietly consulting legal experts about whether the upper house can formally censure a sitting prime minister for attacking the monarchy. This hasn't been done since 1783. If the Lords proceed, it would trigger a constitutional crisis that could make Starmer's position completely untenable. And here's the explosive part. 3 senior Labour peers have privately indicated they would support such a motion. That's members of Starr's own party in the Lords willing to publicly rebuke him. The domino effect has been brutal. The pound sterling dropped 1.4% in morning trading as international investors worried about British political stability. That's billions wiped from pension funds and savings in hours. Labour's polling numbers, already falling, hit a historic low. The latest YUGV survey shows Conservative support surging to 38%, Reform UK climbing to 26%, and Labour collapsing to just 23%. For the first time in modern British history, the governing party is in third place. Among voters over 50, Labour's traditional base support has collapsed to just 17%. In the Midlands and Northern England, Regions Labour must win to govern. They're now running 20 points behind Reform UK. Internal Labour polling shows they're on track to lose over 150 seats if a general election were held today. That would be the worst performance since 1935. Protests erupted across London, Manchester, Birmingham and Glasgow. Crowds numbering in the tens of thousands. These aren't organised political rallies. These are spontaneous expressions of fury from ordinary people who feel their traditions are under attack. The hashtag StarOut trended globally for 18 consecutive hours, accumulating over 4 million tweets. Senior Labour MPs are now openly questioning whether Starmer can survive until Christmas. Inside number 10, Downing Street, the atmosphere has turned into chaos. Ministers are shouting at each other in corridors. Emergency meetings are called, then cancelled. Advisers are leaking against each other to save their own careers. Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves was allegedly heard screaming at Starmer's chief strategist, "You've destroyed us. You've destroyed everything we built." Her frustration makes sense. Reeves spent months carefully building Labour's economic credibility, courting business leaders, promising stability. All of that work evaporated in 72 hours. Sources inside government describe WhatsApp groups that started as strategy discussions and have now become plotting sessions. One group, darkly named After K, has over 30 Labour MPs actively discussing leadership succession. Messages leaked from that group show MPs comparing potential candidates, discussing timing, debating whether to force Starr out before or after local elections in May. The question isn't if they'll move against him, it's when. Cabinet Secretary Simon Cassis, Britain's most senior civil servant, looked visibly shaken leaving Downing Street yesterday evening. Sources say he's never seen a government in such chaos. And he served through Brexit, through Boris Johnson's scandals. This, insiders say, is worse than all of them. Leaked internal Labour polling shows something catastrophic. When voters were asked if they trust Starr to respect British institutions and traditions, 79% said no. Even among Labour voters, only 38% expressed confidence in his judgment. A Prime Minister cannot govern if people fundamentally don't.